Alright, so Gospel Film Festival is here and it's gone, so back to business. Let's talk about the new recently released Mountzion movie. It's titled A Face in Time. So if you've not yet checked it out, go check it out. It's already uploaded on YouTube, on Damilola Mike Bamiloye's YouTube channel. Go check it out and then let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let's dive in straight into it. A Face in Time was written by Gloria Bamiloye, DOP on the sets Damilola and Victor Akure. Soundman was Yomi Odushino, makeup artist Nike Owa. Music was done by J. Mikey, editor was Adekunle Owoloda, and producers were, as usual, Mike and Gloria Bamiloye for the Mountzion Film Productions Nigeria. So the director on the set was Gloria Bamiloye. That's all about the crew members. Let's dive in straight into the casting of the film. Victor Olukoju played Joseph, Florence Adegunle played Funke, and Damola Salako played Tunde, and Kehinde Afe played Funke. Alright, before I finally rate this movie, let me just be giving you a brief summary of the storyline of the film. It tells the story of the series Family Next Door. I think it's another episode of the series of Family Next Door. But in this case, when I say Family Next Door, I'm talking about Blank Card and the other series that have been released, written by Gloria Bamiloye for the series Family Next Door. In this case, it tells the story of two families. One was it's basically, in this case, tells the story of wives trying to fit in their ministerial assignment with their marriage, how it went, and we discovered that in Victor Olukojo and his wife's case in the film, they had issues in the sense that at the beginning, his wife tried to take her ministerial assignments before her marital assignments, not until God intervened, and then she took her ministerial family as assignments, her family as a ministry before her ministerial assignments, and then at the end of the day, everything worked out well in the sense that God showed up at last. Her ministry grew and became international, became worldwide. But the other family, played by Damola Salako, who played Mr. Tunde, and the other woman, I think what happened was that him and his wife, they didn't really understand each other. His wife took her ministerial assignment ahead of her home, and at the end of the day, she neglected her home, and then her children became wayward, and then at the end of the day, she had herself to blame. Ladies and gentlemen, I will not be able to give you detail on the storyline of this movie. Go check it out. You will understand it better. Go check it out. All right, straight to the things I loved and things I did not like about the movie, or things I think did not go down well with me concerning this movie, A Face in Time. The story was beautiful. I applaud the writer, Gloria Bamiloye, for a kind of deviating from the other series of Family Next Door. We all know as writers, it's not easy to write a story and then maybe you're bringing in another episode of that same story. Trying to kind of deviate from what you've written before. She presented it in a kind of different way than we were expecting. Seeing the fact that the story was a kind of a little bit suspense filled, not too suspense filled, but it was a little bit suspense filled, and the story was touching, and we could relate to the storyline. The acting was brilliant as well. All characters did well. I think for Victor Olukoju's wife in the film, I think if she's really worked on, she can do better than she did. She acted well, but not really to my expectation, but I think she's a good actor. She has the potential. Next thing was the sound. The sound was okay. Cinematography, the camera angles were good. The costuming were appropriate at some points, but were inappropriate at some points. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all I'm able to gather for things that were okay with this movie. Straight up to the things that did not really work for this movie. Sister Funke's handbag seemed empty. She was carrying a bag, going to church, and then the bag was dangling and you could see that the bag was empty. That I felt was inappropriate. Next thing was that you could see one hairstyle used by the two women from the beginning of the film to the end of the film, or maybe close to the end of the film. They were all on one hairstyle, and you could tell that they did not change the hairstyle. It made the whole thing unrealistic and made it as if everything happened in one day because of the hairstyle wearings were not changed. I think the hairstyle should have been changed at intervals. Next thing was that the home scenes were they put on the costuming for the home scenes were mostly too corporate. I mean, it felt like they were not at home. I mean, we all know what couples put on at home. It felt like at some point the couples were not at home. They were too corporately dressed. It was too official. The costumes didn't really work at some point. I just didn't like that. Next thing was that the sound effects were repeated. I mean, I've heard some sound that were played. I've heard those same sounds in other Mountzion movies. I think a couple of Mountzion movies, they were replayed and repeated. That I did not like about the film. Next thing was that the set designer forgot the picture of the owners of the house in the house while the shot was being taken. I mean, that picture should have been taken off. I could see pictures of the owners of the house still on the wall. Next thing was that I think the pastor was the problem. I think the pastor was the one that was even causing this whole problem. I mean, you know, these women have issues in their marriages, even though you don't know. Before handling over ministerial assignments to women, you need to seek their husband's consent. But here you are just handling over ministerial duties to women and then making them to even travel out of the country without the consent of their husbands. And then it was now like as if the wives were the only ones at fault. I think the pastor had his own larger share in the fault of the whole drama and the whole thing. Next thing was that there were continuity issues. The old age makeup was not well continued, and the editing was not well continued. There were a lot of continuity issues in that aspect. Next thing was that I think the traditional attire were worn almost in all parts of the movies. I mean, you could see somebody going for ministerial assignments or somebody coming back from ministerial assignments and then putting on traditional attire. I think at some point, maybe English attire, maybe suits, hats, cover shoes should have worked better than just traditional attire all through the film, like from beginning to the end. That didn't work. Next thing was that Ruth Adekpoju, who was molested, who was beaten by those cultists, she was smiling when she slumped and died. I saw her smiling. She was laughing and smiling, rather. She was smiling, and that made it unrealistic. Next thing was that the end credit was not well done. The end credit of this movie was not well done. Some characters were repeated. Some character names were repeated. Some character names were given to some characters that were not their real names. I think something like that happened in some cases at the end credit of the movie. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all I'm able to gather for A Face in Time. Go check it out and then let me know your thoughts in the comment section. At last, I'll be rating this movie a 6/10. A 6/10. Bye for now. My name remains Oris Daniel. Of course, keep your fingers crossed for more gospel film reviews from me. Bye for now. Catch you all later in the next one.